Ahoy and welcome to this Narrowboat adventure. Today we're back with our book club favourite boating recipes, traditional cabin fare, and we are turning to page 22. So we are doing a mixed mushroom compote. So this particular recipe is very, very simple, so this may well be a quite short video, but here it is for you. So here we have all the ingredients. I have 2 kinds of mushrooms. I have 4 pots of herbs because it calls for mixed herbs and I don't have mixed herbs, so I just looked up what herbs were in mixed herbs and those are the ones I will be mixing today. So we're going to start off with the mushrooms. First of all, you're going to have to cut them. I cut them quite roughly as they cook down quite a lot. And then of course I chopped up the 2 cloves of garlic. They do call for crushed garlic, which is why we won't just be chopping them up, but I am going to start off by chopping them finely. And once they're chopped finely, I get to do one of my favourite things that I don't do all that often in the kitchen, and that is use my pestle and mortar. So I'm going to chuck all of the garlic into a pestle and mortar once I've chopped it up nice and finely, and I'm just going to smash it to pieces. I don't know why I find it so difficult to get things off a chopping board into a pestle and mortar, but once it's in there I'm pretty good at smashing it to bits, so you know, swings and roundabouts. I added a little bit of salt in just to bring all those juices out. And I'm going to use my tried and tested method of cutting onions, cutting with the grain of the onion up towards where the roots would grow, and I don't cut that bit off until the very end because it gives me something to hold on to. And then of course chopping horizontally onto the onion. Again, it doesn't specify how to cut the onions in the book, so I guess they just assume that if you're cooking from this book you're good enough at cooking that you know what you're doing. So we're going to start off by adding a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. So it called for a full teaspoon, so I'm doing a 1/4 teaspoon of each. Then we're going to have another 1/4 teaspoon of basil. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary. Then I get all of my ingredients that I'm cooking with ready next to the stove, as this is a very quick cook and everything's going in the pan. So we start off with a little bit of melted butter. I know it looks like cheese, but this recipe calls for a lot of melted butter. And once the butter is melted, we are going to chuck in the onion. Careful not to overcook the butter. If it starts turning brown, then it's not going to taste that good. You've got to get everything in before it starts turning brown, because then it tastes divine. This recipe is in fact dedicated to people who love butter. So then you're going to give those onions a good stir and start off really cooking those onions through, because they are the bit that's going to probably take the most cooking. And then you're going to put in your smashed up garlic. Give that a little stir. Then you're going to chuck in your mixed herbs
and of course your mushrooms, the star of the show, and give them a bit of a stir. And then of course salt and pepper. What recipe isn't cooked with salt and pepper, particularly English recipes? And then, so you get all of the mushrooms in the middle and you cover them. And then this cooks them through really nicely, and they're really moist and, yeah, really delightful. They're starting to look ready. I'm just patting them out and going, yeah, I think they look about right. And that's what they look like when they look about right. This recipe calls very specifically to be served with fresh toast and eaten immediately. So that's what we're going to do. Fresh toast, and I'm just going to butter it because it does say hot buttered toast. Serve immediately. Of course, getting the butter right up to the edges of the toast. The one thing I would say about this recipe, it says that this amount of mushrooms will serve 4 to 6 people, and I think that that's mean portions. So this is supposed to serve 4 to 6 people. I managed to get 2 toasts out of it. I would imagine though that you could just add more mushrooms and leave the rest of the recipe the same, and it would still give you more for more toasts. And that, ladies and gents, is how it's done.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you make this one at home because it is rather delicious. And of course, no video would be complete without the first bite. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Do join us again on this Narrowboat adventure by clicking subscribe down below. And have a great day. Bye!